This is your daily market review for Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Hopefully you're doing well. If you get a chance, please check out the live chat today. Again, I love these live chats for you guys because we get to go over a lot more in-depth things with regards to the markets and everything that's going on. So check it out. I will drop the link as it'll pop up hopefully in the top corner. But yeah, if you have any questions, again, always please reach out. Always here to help. So we know next week is FOMC. We know more earnings are coming down the pipe after hours. Intel, KLL, 10 core, whatever, another chip name. Again, earnings. Are they really that good? I've argued they're not at all. But the reaction is what matters. In near term, it's getting a little dicey. Now, again, if you want to be long, raise your stops. If you're looking to short, identify levels. Be careful. It's a trader's market. Tried to argue that again in the live chat because, again, some names are up, some are acting like junk, and they've been like that for a while. However, near term, got to be careful. Going into the FOMC next week, there's a lot of earnings still to come. Either way, drop a comment. Let me know how I can help if you have any questions. Always here to help. Link to the Discord room is in the discussion. I guess it's more like the chat, but yeah, hit that up if you're one new to the channel. Again, 52 back to basic videos about the markets, bull and bear traps, how to trade, all this fun stuff, probability-based mindset, everything you need, y'all. Hit me up. Also, website, Trading Agent, there it is, back to basics. Get your markets, get your 5.5%. Man, it's so good. And also, too, I'm telling you, at some point, there's going to be a brokerage that's going out of business. So I would be moving to interactive brokers. And go ahead, use the links, get the readings. It's so simple. Trading isn't rocket science. Follow on Twitter, again, posting a lot of good insights about what we see. FedWatch tool, as we know, again, I just like to refresh it constantly. There is nothing happening next week. Zero, but it's just a meeting. They're going to talk. The talking can get people a little anxious. We're back at 50% odds of a cut. Today's GDP data, again, it's all basically government spending and it's deficit spending, which is crazy to happen at this time going into a recession. But again, the liquidity that's plopping around, be careful. Again, I think certain names will react better when the Feds pivot, like maybe Bitcoin, gold, materials, industrials, certain names. But right now, again, be careful. Bitcoin, we talked about every time there is massive news, people get sucked in. Every time, oh, I got to keep buying. I got to keep buying. It's like, okay. Good luck. Yeah, not happening. Near term, again, we talked about 20% pullback minimum. You got it. I don't know. You know, it's hard to be bullish Bitcoin long term until you break out. Now, I know this is not what people want to hear, but look where you're failing. Is this another long-term lower high? I don't know. I just be careful. Oil, as we talked about, hard to short, but also hard to really believe in, you know, with ripping higher because of demand destruction. But however, we do know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. So, again, big short interest. We know we need to fill the SPR. It's just going to be wide and loose. Nat gas, congrats again. I like this area. I don't think there's much downside, but just be careful. Global, slowing. I mean, we talked about that. It's everywhere. People in China are not paying the debts. Europe's a mess. Germany's a mess. Our economy, as much as it seems strong on paper, again, I call it the silent recession because, again, people have to get 3-4 jobs just to survive. Housing is not affordable. Interest rates just blew everything out. But the market is not the economy. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, let's jump into it. Oh, PayPal. If someone was chatting on the live chat today that, oh, the CEOs have got something impressive to prove to us. Well, somebody knew last week, or at the beginning of the week, they had nothing. Now it's a chop. And again, I've said this over, this is a dead stock, but it doesn't mean you can't trade it. But I mean, if you're looking to invest in it for the long run, this is an absolute piece of POS turd. They have no sustainable advantage. They're replaceable. X is going to have their payment system. Meta, I mean, all these systems, no one needs the PayPal. Just keep that in mind. Sorry, that ran. The dollar had a big down day yesterday. Rallied back at the close, look, holding up pretty well. TLT, again, we talked about the 9,900 area rejecting. Talked about maybe hitting support here. So far, so good. Again, I don't really care about interest rates more. I just want to watch the volatility. The VIX, again, a gift down here. Vixen, gift down here. Vivix, we talked about. Look at the crazy move in this. Seems to be holding 76. SPY. All right, so let's get into the markets, right? I got stopped out of everything, and I didn't really have much other than financials. I got stopped out of my other shorts, but actually, if you've been paying attention, we had some wins, we had some small losses. I got stopped out of everything. I am sitting on the sidelines just to give myself a little time, see what happens, because again, it feels like a trap, but we'll see what happens. Again, I mean, to believe in the bull market would assume that the recession that's coming is going to be soft, assuming that this election is going to go smoothly. It's going to assume that China's not going to take over Taiwan, assumes so many things to go positive. And I just don't think it's going to be that simple. So it's going to be a volatile year. QQQ starting to show weakness. Little novice gap trap. Expected that to happen. We talked about the down move. Got that, but then did not expect this bullseye rocket. Looks like a short squeeze. Now chopping. Just keep in mind. I mean, we talked about this. The IWM lag. Look at this. Every time it pops, chop, fails. Up in this area, as you zoom out, it's still down 20% off the highs. That is not indicative of bullishness in the economy, because again, the IWM is what? It's the best representation of the economy as a whole, because it's all smaller, medium-sized, I guess it's small caps, but it's small companies, right? They are based on the economy as a whole versus like some of these bigger names, which have such market share or government subsidies and all sorts of craziness, right? Dia holding up pretty well. Got to give it credit where credit's due. Gold. Told you guys, be careful. I don't trust gold at all. 0% until we break out. Again, the best time will be when the Fed pivots. We're not at a Fed pivot at the moment, right? Just be careful. Silver, as we talked about, I mean, it's... Do you really want to play this game? Again, it's just a choppy, sloppy mess. Same thing with everything in the gold, like the miners. Congrats. I think someone was talking about a pop from these levels. They got it yesterday, but gave it all back. GDXJ, same kind of thing. Gave it all back, chopping around. It's going to be wide and loose. Wait for the Feds to pivot. If you've watched previous videos, you know why. Because again, liquidity. These names get smoked. Because if there's credit issues, these guys run off of credit. Just keep that in mind. And meaning running off credit in that, like, they have the most risk with credit being tight, because they got to borrow. A lot of these companies aren't run very well, to borrow to build, to function. And so short term, they get murdered. I mean, hey, look at Newmont. Like this. Here's the thing, right? Newmont's the big dog. If everybody thinks that gold is going to rip out, why is Newmont just dead? I mean, I asked this question again. It's like, it's dead until it's not. Pass. Same kind of thing. Be careful down here. All right. Taiwan semi getting wide and loose up here, 2-day range, blowing off on what to me the earnings were. Again, they're still decelerating growth year over year. Good luck, 2-day range. Keep an eye on it. Micron, again, their earnings. I think they have negative 1% growth or something silly year over year, and yeah, they're on fire. Okay, AIO. I mean, they're not even catching it. AMD, again, we talked about this. Do not short this quickly. Every broker had the wrong price targets, and they're upgrading at the high. Buddy pass. Again, this straight line move is dangerous. Dangerous as hell. Is today the top? Keep an eye. Look at the volumes. NVIDIA, same kind of thing. Upgrade. Volume's not as high as you'd think if it was about to be unloaded, but just keep an eye on it. Intel after hours. Well, what's the exact price? It is at 45. Oops, failed. Broke down. Again, I've said this many times. Again, I don't trust some of these like chip names, especially like Intel. Like, it's been a laggard. I mean, it's great that it popped for other folks, but SMH getting real dicey up here, man. I mean, they straight line moves. I mean, we talk about how you bottom with straight line moves. Well, now you've ripped straight out and crushed every bear. Careful up here if you're long. Razor stops. Adobe, got to give it credit. Trying to fill this gap here. That is watching that all day. Apple, we know sales are down, coming down in China. Lower high? That's tough to know. Amazonians. Check this out, right? Chopping at the highs. I mean, again, this is where tech is. You got to be careful. If you're wrong, you're gone. Meta, again, Zuckerberg can't sell his shares fast enough, but it's holding up. And again, I've been wrong on this, and I don't mind admitting it. It could just diverge from the economy completely, like CRM, and that's where we'll see with their earnings if they justify these multiples, because there's negative growth. Guggenheim holding up. I mean, again, be careful. That's interesting. Hitting the channel highs. Again, going into earnings, rising, and everything better be perfect. Same thing with Microsoft. NDAQ. It's interesting things chopping again at what I think should be the fail zone. We've talked about this. They're due to get smoked. MicroStrategy. Near term. I mean, again, support. This thing is, I mean, we talked about this being a blow off. You're welcome. If you traded that, absolutely gold. Netflix rallied on earnings, said, watch. Again, earnings weren't even that great, but the reaction's all that matters. Watch this area up here. You zoom out and you'll see. Roblox, 47 area. Fail, 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 fail. Tesla, you're welcome. Said short this at 300. Said short this here as well. At this point, it's a broken stock. I've said this on Gone on Record. Like, at some point, this will be a double-digit stock. Here's your straight line blow-off move. Here was one previously. All right. Again, the market, someone knows something. And again, as many people are pumping this, I don't think they realize, like, Trump is now leading, obviously, heavily. And again, who knows whether he gets elected or not, but the perception is that he's going to remove subsidies and remove the electrical car mandates. Somebody knows something. Airbnb, talked about this being an amazing short in time, trading around it. Clearly upper range. We talked about this little double bottom. I'd watch this 4-day range. If it goes higher, I think the better. It's an easier short. Costco, we talked about it blowing out on China. They're opening more stores in there. Good luck. Americans not really favorable there. We'll see how that works out. Starbucks, global growth name everywhere. Starbucks is everywhere. Not acting right. FDX, FedEx, tight range here. Tight range. Very frustrating if you had to trade on. It's, again, moveon.org if it's not working. Caterpillar, we hit the upper trend bound, but keep in mind, February 5th, we have earnings. Popping on the China the China stimulus 10.0, 12.0, I don't know. Nucor, same thing. Chop, flop. X, and we talked about this being a buyout target a long time ago. We'll guess Nippon Steel. I don't think they're going to get it. So, but don't be careful shorting. I think there's multiple suitors if it drops. Again, VALE, global growth name, nothing. Arrow got smoked. Copper got crushed. Talked about watching that upside. Now it's chopping here. CCJ. I mean, this has been a leader. Uranium's been on fire, but can it hold out? Feels like a novice gap trap. We've talked about this action 2-day range. I mean, at worst, it's going to consolidate. CF, again, we love ag long term, but we said lay off of it. Mosaic, lay off of it. Again, it's going to be choppy and sloppy. Wait for the market to blow a VIX out of 50 plus, and then you got game on. Yeah, Texan Instrument, Intel, KLO 10 Core, all have been bad bad reactions, which is interesting. Again, AA, love aluminum long term. XLF, here you go. Here's why stops. Again, I really believe banks, again, will always hold the biggest risk when it comes to crisis of any sort, whether it's recession, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I don't know where the upper trend bound is. I stopped out, but it doesn't mean I'm just going to give up on the trade. I think it's worth keeping an eye on in time. But to me, I mean, they're the easiest shorts in time. In time being the key word. JP Mo thought the 20-day would flop. Look at that. Cutting back up there. Watch what happens. I mean, get in, because this is a secure high, in my opinion. Doesn't mean you can't retest. We talk about retests all the time, right? Morgan Stanley talked about this thing getting smoked down. Okay, let it rally back up. I mean, probably 89.91 area would be ideal. Bank of America, I think they have earnings next week or this week. I can't remember. Keep an eye on that. Goldman Sachs, right? Clearly chop top. Watch the top of the range. Again, we've talked about carry. There's zero chance in hell, in my opinion, that this thing's going to break out long term. All the banks, small banks, hold all the risk. XBI, here you go. Check this out. Failure, 92. Chopping. Again, be careful if you're long or short. Solar, again, I mean, we've been dialed this one in for a while, said this is junk. Again, fills the gap near term. It might be choppy. Again, it's not going to flop unless the market goes. Again, I think you've got some lower bounds that we're holding on to going into earnings. Some of these names, be careful. ENPH, right? These things, we nailed these things. First Solar, nailed this. Near term, it's a little tough. I know we got earnings coming. And then HYG. Oh, hey. This is crazy. I'm amazed that people are buying Well, thank you. Corporate debt right now. Like, you got to be high as a kite. All right, let's end it with oil and gas. I mean, rally today. Yeah, making higher high. That's got to be good for oil. UNG, we talked about this. Reverse splitting can usually the time to buy these ETFs. I would wait just a little bit. I like the KOLD short. We talked about this. Let it get back up into the upper bound. I think that, again, shorted up here, covered down in this area. Now, again, watch. I mean, I love this thing. It decays. It's absolute turd. ExxonMobil. I mean, look at this. You got to give credit where credit's due. Like, you break below, make new lows, you rally back. I mean, if you zoom out, it's just a big choppy, sloppy range. XOP, talking about drip down in the 9s and then buying it and selling it. Backside of the trend line test holds. I mean, again, all these names, I think they're just going to be wide and loose. So just be careful. CVE, this is one that got identified as a possible options. Radar, like, man, look at that, straight up. It's a nice little move from 15 up there. It might have more. Valero, again, we talked about these gas names. They have roofs on the ceilings. They're chopping around. We'll see what happens. Occidental, again, Buffett loves this stuff. Just going to trade in this big range. And last but not least, EQT and Flex LNG. Again, we talked about 44 failure. Now you've got Flex LNG. Again, I think we will be a big natural gas exporter in time. So if you have any questions, please reach out. Do not hesitate. I'm here to help you. Trust me. The goal is ultimately to be a probability-based trader. No one's selling you certainty. No one's selling you a system other than what works best for you and how to trade safely. If you have any questions, again, use the links below. Reach out. Talk to you guys and gals later.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.